Well, it's about 5:30 and we're finally set up here. Cooper was still down at the bottom getting ready to come up, and there was a spike across the way that Cooper spotted, and then we actually watched him for about 10 minutes. It's a good sign anyway, we're in the right spot, and aside from taking about an hour to get set up, I think it might be worth it. That buck is still only about 55 yards away right now. Awesome frame, good mass on his main beams, and good tine length already. It's still early too in the season. It's not something I want to put my tag on just yet, I don't think. Alright, well today is October 19th and Cooper and I are back on the public land. Weather's a lot warmer than it has been. It's not typically the time of October where you'd expect to see a lot of buck movement, but we're out here and we're gonna do our best. Put our time in and see what walks by.
Welcome to Midwest Whitetail. It is 3 days removed from the big snowstorm. We still got a lot of snow here. Nothing's melted, hasn't been warm enough yet, which is good for us as deer hunters because it forces these deer to get really aggressive around food. For this afternoon's hunt, I'm heading to a spot that I haven't hunted yet this entire season, and that's going to be the theme of this episode. We're going to be talking about the first time in and how the first time that you hunt a new stand or a stand that you haven't hunted in quite a long time, that's usually the best chance for the whole season of having success there. So I'm looking forward to this afternoon's hunt. I'll bring you the action right at the end when I close up the episode. But the real value here is in the fact that the deer don't know that they're being hunted. As soon as they start figuring out that you're there, whether it's through human scent that they find on the ground, or they see you coming and going, or they smell you while you're in the tree, they're really good at understanding risk and danger. When they start figuring out that they're being hunted, they don't move as naturally. They will avoid certain areas. A lot of times they won't even move during the day. They'll start moving at night. So you try to keep your best spots for those times of the season when they're most likely to produce before you go and hunt them. This should be a really good hunt tonight. I mean, I'm real hopeful that we might even be able to pull a buck out of here before this evening's over with. But on today's episode, we're going to really dive into this subject with two hunts. One from Justin Fabian, one of the employees at the Midwest Whitetail office, with a nice buck that he killed on public land, and then Mike Reed, who I'm sure you're all familiar with. They both had great success on first-time in hunts.
All right, guys, well, welcome back. Today is November 9th, and I am headed back into the public land. On the 7th, I went in for the afternoon on a solo hunt and was pleasantly surprised with some awesome rut activity. A lot of chasing, heard a lot of grunts, and that activity pushed me back into that same spot yesterday where Cooper was with me and had an unbelievable set. We were on deer all day, so I'm going to make a little bit of a move today. I'm going to push further into what looks to be the edge of a big stand of timber and just see if I can't maybe get lucky and catch one on the ground. I saw 3 shooters yesterday on their feet between 10 o'clock and 3 o'clock that I would happily put my tag on. So again, going in as kind of a scouting mission today, but it is November 9th. I have really high expectations I'm anxious to get in there. It's going to be a lot of work, but I'm just going to still hunt my way through it. You know, spend a half hour, 45 minutes, move a couple hundred yards, rattle, just get in there and really try to figure out why the deer are moving the way they are, and hope I can get one to cross my path.
All right, so this tree right here over my shoulder is the tree we've been sitting in the last couple days. And I've been looking north into this thick draw right here. The wind is good to get in there and just get closer to that line and see exactly why they're running the draw that they are. And I'm just gonna try to slip through here nice and easy, get into a spot and set up for like an hour, whatever, just see what happens, rattle. If nothing produces, I'm just gonna move further down the draw, further into the timber. All right, guys, I found an awesome setup in here. This is actually exactly where I've heard all the chasing and all the grunting and everything coming from the last 2 days. We've only been able to catch glimpses of bucks, you know, running through here chasing does. We know they're down here, and I could not be happier with the fact that I pushed in here today to check this out. I'm hunkered down in all this brush, this barberry and goldenrod, but there's this big ridge right here in front of me with a creek that runs right through the middle of it, and there's just loads of sign here. I've got a good wind, I've got the sun at my back. Anything coming here along this trail is gonna have a bad day. I'm really excited to see what turns up here the next couple hours. That was insane. That was the closest encounter I've ever had with a whitetail. Oh my gosh. That was crazy. Literally 10 feet away. That was amazing. Holy cow. Incredible. I cannot believe that just happened. Wow. Holy cow. 2 angles, everything. He's down right there. Oh my gosh. I saw him go down. I think I got him on camera going down. I'm not positive. but I got over the shoulder with the GoPro and I'm running DSLR main angle. My first Iowa buck, holy cow. Well, I saw him go down. I saw him through the binos. He's laying right there in the ditch. I need help though. But look at this. Look at that, you can't ask for a better day. One hand self-filming. I wish my buddies were here. Cooper, Josh, Drake, Dylan, Hunter, Quentin, everybody. I wish y'all were here. Oh, there's deer right here on the skyline. That's pretty cool. No way, but my buddy Kyle came. He lives about 15 minutes north of where I'm at here, so he was gracious enough to come give me a hand in getting this beast out of here and roll the recovery for me. So I know he's down right here. I already had eyes on him earlier, like I said, so we're gonna get in here and go get some hands on him. Man, look at the neck on him. Talk about adapting and trying to figure out the right way to go about this. And I was actually excited to get in and figure out some of this public land hunting here in Iowa, knowing what the potential holds. And I've hunted 4 different pieces now. This one makes number 4. And for me, this buck represents a lot of things, because to come in with the support of my wife and, you know, leaving New York, selling our house and moving halfway across the country, not knowing anybody except the people who interviewed me, pretty much, and to come in on a piece of public ground and produce something like this is just, you know, that's the trophy in it for me. Every hunter gets to define his own trophy, and that's my definition of this one. That is a fact.
Alright, and continuing this theme of the element of surprise on this week's episode, I just wanted to weigh in quickly with some of my thoughts and my experience with it. For those of you guys that have seen my hunts before, and you guys know I love to do hanging hunts, I'd say 90% of the time over the past 2 or 3 years has been carrying in stands, hanging, and then taking them down after the hunt. So I almost always have that element of surprise on my side. In fact, you know, I'm in one right now. This tree's never been hunted before. A brand new spot. So I just think there's a lot of reasons why it's so effective your first time in, or maybe first 2 times in. Most of it has to do with disturbance. You know, maybe you don't spook any deer on a particular hunt, but you never know what deer come by later that night or the next day. So we usually do more damage than we think, whether it be leaving scent behind or whatever. So those are the primary reasons that first time in can be so good. And the way I look at it is, if we're saying the first 1 or 2 times in is your highest odds, why not put those odds in your favor as often as you can? And that's the primary reason I do so many hanging hunts in new spots. So, you know, Justin's hunt was a good illustration of that, and as you'll see, Mike's is too.
It's Tuesday, November 13th. I took the day off of work, and Cooper and I are in the tree ready for the hunt here. It's pretty cold. It's like 16 degrees. We got a northwest wind that's about 10 miles per hour. And this is my first hunt of the year in the urban zone. And so since I just had one day, we just decided to come right here in town. And I've always had big deer in this area. I haven't actually hunted this particular spot in a couple of years, just because last year I shot my buck really early, and I don't typically doe hunt this spot, but we're set up on a bluff over the creek here, and we got a couple ag fields, cut cornfields right here, and a bunch of draws that all filter over this bluff around this corner. We haven't seen any deer yet, but I'm excited for the sit nonetheless. I haven't had any cameras out here. You guys have heard me say before, but it's been a crazy summer, just a crazy year altogether with the twins and moving, and so I'm just having fun sitting out in the woods, and I know there's going to be mature bucks in the area. So we're going to sit back and enjoy the hunt. Okay, where's he going to go? just gonna see where he walks. Hopefully he comes low, but they usually go up to the corner. That was a cool first encounter. That was a mature buck, and I was gonna shoot him. He skirted us at like 60 yards. We're up on this bluff, and it's really thick, and it's thick down below us, and often there's deer down there, so I tried snort wheezing quietly away from us, and he never once reacted. He's bound to have heard me. I'd be really surprised if he didn't hear me, so it's just odd that he didn't even stop to look. Anyway, I'm not sure how many hunters have been in here and how much calling has been done, but anyway, cool first encounter nonetheless, and it's a relatively small area, so maybe he'll swing back through. That's the only deer we've seen so far, so it's a good one to see, I guess. Right there. Nice job. He's down at 70. That's the same buck we had come through here earlier. And he probably did hear me calling now that I think about it. And it's hard to get downwind of us, but he managed to. He actually got right where we walked in. We came across the creek this morning in our waders, and he stopped right where we crossed the creek. And pretty awesome. It's the only deer we've seen this morning. Made a big circle around us, and we got him down on the ground. So that's a quick start and finish to my urban hunt. Nice cold morning, 7 degrees with the wind, and I don't know how long we've been in the stand. I don't even know what time it is. Pretty cool. He's down just up the way a little way, so we're gonna get packed up and go take a look at him. Well, that's how you hope they all work out. Pretty funny. I really spent minimal time here on the urban hunt this year. As I mentioned earlier, we walked in, first hunt of the year. First deer of the year out here is this mature buck. I haven't run cameras out here in 2 years or hunted out here in 2 years, so but big body on him. And as far as the urban hunt goes for me, I just look for a mature buck. I don't get too picky, or I'm not managing stuff out here. This is public land, and so if I can get a mature buck in and get him with a bow, then I take it. The point of this hunt is actually to reduce the deer numbers, to reduce motor vehicle collisions in town, because there's no other way to really control the deer population. And I've been partaking in this for 10 years now. And now we do it where you earn your buck tag with the previous year's doe harvest. So I earned this buck tag last year and started the season off with it. And it's an extra buck tag, so it's kind of neat to be able to have an extra buck tag in my pocket. And obviously Cooper and I made a quick one and done 2-hour hunt with my urban buck tag. But so I've still got my statewide tag. I filled my landowner tag already, and we're gonna keep after him. certainly going to keep after Curly over on my main farm, and then Jared and I are looking for bucks to show up still on our piece that we own together. So we're going to stick after them. There's still half of November to go, and there's still some good hunting to be had.
Man, we were at least in the game tonight. The buck that we came in here to hunt was, he came out on this end a couple of days ago when we were down there in that redneck blind. And this evening, of course, he came out on that end when we were over here. But it's a little cat and mouse that we're going to have to play with that deer on this big food plot. But it's a lot of fun. It's all part of the game, I guess. But it just shows, I mean, we were talking about the value of the first time in. And the deer were comfortable on this end. The ones that did come out here, they didn't look at this tree, no problems at all, and ended up shooting a doe that was trying to slip around. And I was afraid she was going to get on the downwind side. Anyway, getting back to the topic of this episode, and I don't mean to overstate it, but it took me years to figure out that there is a lot of value in saving your best stands for the best times. So in many cases that means the rut, but in this case on this spot it meant during that first cold snap when the deer are hitting the food. Unless we can get this buck on this end of the field, that's going to be it for me this week. But I appreciate you joining us. We'll see you right back here again next week for the next episode of Midwest Whitetail. And remember to always dream big.